Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, you guys, I have Dipo Adesina. He is a serial entrepreneur, and I know you're not going to believe it by how young he looks. So we're going to just jump right into some of the exciting businesses he has, everything from agriculture to the scooters that you rent, possibly the bikes that you rent, but not in this country. He does it even overseas while he's in Maryland. Dipo, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Kellen? Appreciate you for having me with you today.
Man, I appreciate you. I found out about you through a friend of mine, another Super Eagles Nigerian brother. And, you know, I saw everything that you had going on with the agriculture. Can you give an introduction of, you know, what businesses you own or you're part of and just who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. So from a business standpoint, we run several businesses here in the United States as well as in Africa. But bulk of our work is being done in Africa, partly because I'm originally from Nigeria, and I have passion for developing the continent of Africa. So we've been able to start several companies in across Africa. We own an agriculture platform, an agro-tech platform that allows Africans in the diaspora to invest in agriculture back in Africa. So we've been pushing that for about 4 years now. And then from our ride-sharing platform, that's something that we're launching in June in Rwanda. So we've been able to partner with the government of Rwanda to initiate the first ride-sharing system in the entire country. So we're pretty much very excited about that initiative.
Now, a lot of people, they'll say, okay, he's from Nigeria, he's living in America, and he just did a partnership in Rwanda. These are things that, you know, our forefathers that are over 60, their mind will be blown because they're going to say, Dipo, you're not there. They're going to steal your scooters. They're going to steal your bikes. They're going to steal everything. How are you going to manage it? Who can you trust while being in America? These are the negative things that we hear when people start talking about opening business in Africa. So answer those questions. How did that come about? So later on, our little ones can duplicate that with the support from our generation, like, and give that, you know, that blueprint. How did you do that? How are you going to manage it?
I think those are very important and valid questions because, like most people, I had those reservations as well. And as a matter of fact, my initial experience in doing business in Africa was a complete flop. Got into the wrong hands, wrong business partners, lost a lot of money. And from that experience, I started to actually travel more to Africa than to make sure that whatever I was involved in, I was visible. I understood the business. I knew the people. So right now I travel to Africa at least 3 to 4 times every year, right? And that's part of mainly because I want to be directly involved in my projects. Now, when it comes to the issue of finding the right people to work with, my brother also is in Africa right now. He actually graduated from Penn State, moved straight to Nigeria after graduation because he also has passion for the continent. So we have, reputable people overseeing our projects in Nigeria, and my brother moved from Nigeria to Rwanda to manage our ride-sharing initiative out over there. But essentially, if anybody's looking to do business in Africa, you can't do so remotely, right? In other words, you can't be in the United States and expect to run a successful operation overseas without you being visible, in whatever project you're running over there.
And, you have the ride sharing, but you also have, the ride sharing is for the vehicles, correct? And you also have the scooters and the bike rentals like we see in every other city here in America.
Yeah, so ride sharing in Rwanda is a little bit different because we're not operating with vehicles. We're operating with electric motorcycles. So Rwanda's major transportation system is motorcycles. right? That's their primary mode of transportation. So we were able to key in from that aspect as a means to help redefine transportation in Rwanda, rather than going through the the vehicle model like Uber, Lyft, and so on. So we kind of added like a little bit of unique twist to that.
Okay, and the vehicles are the vehicles are one thing, but I think I saw like a scooter as well. Didn't you guys have the powered scooters as well? And are those already available?
Yeah, we have. We have several operations in Rwanda. So let me kind of break it down for clarification purposes. We have the scooters. So if you're in the United States, if you're familiar with Bird, Lime, and the likes, we have the scooters. We have the electric bicycles, which is also similar to if you're familiar with Jump, which is owned by Uber. You're familiar with Lime bikes, owned by Lime. So we also have that type of system in place. In addition to that, we now have electric motorcycles, right? Which also operates like operates the ride sharing model. So essentially what we're doing is we're introducing new forms of transportation in Rwanda, because part of their goal as a country is to move from emission-based transportation into more of electric mode of transportation. And that's how we've been able to work with partner with the government to help facilitate that.
Okay, and are the bicycles, are they already available? Like if someone goes to Rwanda, can they already jump on your bicycle?
Say that again.
Are the bikes and the scooters, are they already available? If if they're in Rwanda, are they already using the Guru ride? Correct.
Yeah, we have limited bikes right now. Our goal was to actually officially launch in April. Now we have very limited bikes right now. Our goal was to April 2020 this year, but due to the pandemic, we've been right now all our operation have been on hold in Rwanda due to the lockdown. So officially in June we should be kicking off with our ride sharing with the bicycles, as well as our motorcycle transportation business model as well.
Now, when you're doing this project, what gave you the insight to know how to run this? Did you used to work at Uber, Jump, Bird? How did you get these things that are new to even big cities? I'm in Seattle. I've seen these for a few years. But when I go to maybe a Lubbock, Texas, people say, what do you mean? We're the Jump bikes or the Bird bikes. So there's even places in America who don't have this. So, where did you get your game from?
So I think what made it a lot easier for us was that, before going into Rwanda, we were able to study the country. And we noticed that part of the country's goal was to move from emission-based transportation into more electric. So, of course, being exposed in the United States, seeing what's going on, we looked at the business models that were already working, right? And we looked at how can we take this and fit it into the African market. Once again, here you're talking about Uber where you're using your car, but in a place like Rwanda, that's not necessarily their primary mode of transportation, right? So we now looked at how can we use this same business model and replicate it with a different type of mode of transportation. And that's when we came up with the motorcycles, but not just any type of motorcycles, electric motorcycles, right? Which the government, mainly the president, is now working on transitioning all the current motorcyclists to using electric motorcycles, which is part of their vision as a nation. So, in essence, we just looked at what was already working. We took that concept and replicated it to the African market.
Well, the people out here on Diversified Game Business Podcast, they say they want to say, I can hear them already. But where did the brother get the capital? I mean, where did they find the bike? How do you even start something like that? If I want to do this in Kentucky, not to speak of, being in Rwanda, like how are you guys VC funded, angel investors, or just, massive hustlers who just, you don't stop until you find what you're looking for?
Well, I'm leaning more towards your third option. We don't have any VCs. We've had quite a number of people reach out to us, but one of our, goal is to retain ownership of our company and also control. Because once you start getting into the VCs, not to say that we won't need them at some point, but we want to be at a point where we have full control of how we operate, and mainly because we understand the market that we're in, right? So from a capital standpoint, we have raised, we have used a lot of our own personal, everybody had to come to the table with something significant. So we've done that. We've also leaned on friends and family who can chip in, a couple of thousands here and there. So, like I said, it's been more so just seeking funds every other way outside of going the route of venture capitalists at this moment, or angel investors.
Well, I applaud you for that one, because the vultures, definitely once they get on board, they don't leave. And I'm in Seattle, where it's easy to find it. And it's the reason why people come to this city. But that you were able to do it on your own. With the the scooters and the bikes, did you buy that stuff from China and ship it from China? Or were you taking maybe Uber's, leftovers? Maybe they ordered too many and then, shipped it from America over to Rwanda.
Yeah, that's a very great question. Every single one of our equipment is customized for the African market. Now, anyone who enters the African market, with any type of, especially Rwanda, right? So I'll give you an example. When we first went to Rwanda, going on 2 years now, we had our own idea of how things would work, right? We already had, dozens of bikes already customized for the market. But once those bikes enter the market, we realized that those bikes cannot operate in the country, mainly because Rwanda is a very hilly country, right? So if your bike is not strong enough, you can't necessarily operate that type of business model, right? So in essence, every single bike that we have, from our scooters to our bicycles to our motorcycles, have been designed mainly for the Rwanda market, not even just not the entire African market, but customized for the market that we're in. And and those are some of the things that you'll find out during your R&D phase, to see how you can really grow and maximize your business in a country like Rwanda.
Okay, so were they made then in Rwanda?
No, they were not made in Rwanda. Everything's coming from overseas, but we're assembling them in Rwanda.
Okay. Well, U.S. standards, you can say made in. You know how it goes. You put the tag on the shirt.
Right, no doubt. Made in USA. We know where it came from.
Yeah. It's just, I'm a PR guy and a consultant, so I just got to throw that out there because, that's just the way business works. And people say made in America all the time, and they're lying. But no, that's awesome. With all these, different businesses, and you're either an owner, co-founder, how do you manage which business you're going to give time to?
I think it boils down to having the right people on your team, right? So take, for example, with our projects in Rwanda, my partners literally moved to Rwanda, right? So they are more on board with the operations. I have my own part that I play, but they are really hands-on in the day-to-day operation. So that kind of helps me not to be as involved as they are, because I have other things going on. Same thing with our projects in Nigeria. We have a very trustworthy, efficient manager managing our operations. But once again, I still visit, frequently, just to see what's going on. We do video calls. We get constant updates, even though I'm not present in these different countries. So essentially, like, you having efficient team members who are smart, intelligent, and know what they're doing kind of helps alleviate a lot of the pressure on me as an individual.
Well, not having, venture capital and having, family as angels, how do you then, make sure you're getting your money and the fair percentage? Because that's the biggest thing I've always heard, that will never work because somebody's going to steal from you. And I say, you know what? Someone's going to steal from you here, at some point if you're doing enough business. But
Right.
what are some of the things that you do to, make sure that you're getting your fair share?
I mean, I think, so with our projects in Rwanda, we all have a certain percentage of the company, right? So I think that kind of alleviates that, so everybody knows what's coming to them. Everybody knows the kind of control they have over the company. And then with our project in Nigeria and pretty much other projects that we're involved in, it boils down to you taking care of your people. One of the challenges that Africans have is that mainly those who are trying to do business in Africa, they don't take care of their people. And when you don't take care of your people and you're not present, that is the easiest way for you to be a victim of getting scammed or duped, because now you're being taken advantage of. So for us, I mean, for example, our farm manager in Nigeria, I mean, we got him a place to stay. We're taking care of his rent. Bought him, got him his own motorcycle. We're paying him salary. So when you do those type of things to take care of your staff who are actually managing your business, they'll be more willing to make sure that the business succeeds because that's how they're eating, right? So it boils down to you understanding how things work in Africa, right? And I've always told people that there's certain things you should know how to do before you enter any African market to do business. And those who don't know these things, or those who don't take the time to study these markets, are the ones who usually fall victims of, different scams and things of that nature.
I love to hear that because I'm one of those, when in Africa, overpay. Overpay the drivers. People say, nah, you don't have to pay that. Pay that just because we don't want to hear any stories. I don't want to hear any of Sophia in London and Kim Owa, stories about the pay the extra, because what is the extra? How much are you saving? I have a family member who told me, massage out here in America, $60 an hour at best. That's, at best, full massage. I was getting a massage. I said I paid maybe 30 in Cameroon. Family member said, you paid too much. I said, huh? He said, wait till you go to Ethiopia. And I paid like 11, right? Very nice place. And I said, okay, I see what you're saying, but what is $30 compared to the 30 I saved when I'm, in America?
Right.
And then when I pay 11, I'm really feeling like I never want to leave. Like I want to, I don't want to leave because I'm paying 11, but I could even pay 20. I mean, because you can always tip people,
Yeah.
And I'm just talking. And so, and the same thing in Kenya, because my body's full of bull riding, football, and all types of crazy stuff. So I have to do those things, take care of the body. So let me ask you, you have your businesses. How much time do you put in your business? Because you also have 3 children and a wife. How do you manage all that?
I wake up very early. I think that plays a very important role, because when you wake up early and you have goals, you're able to accomplish more in a day or more in the morning than most people do the entire day, right? So most of the things that I need to do from a father standpoint, when I wake up early, I do my daily devotion, with my children, bathe them, give them breakfast. In the evening, when I have more time, we can read a book and do something like that. You know what I mean? And then with my wife, she also owns her own bakery business. So when it comes to creating content, I'm able to also create time for that, right? Even right now, as we're doing this video, I have to run to hop on this because I was helping her to create content in the house. So I think when we understand like some of the most important things in life, it helps us to give more time to those things. And the privilege that I have is that most of our operations overseas does not require me to be present 100% of the time, right? If I didn't have my brother and my other partners in Rwanda, then I know for a fact that the business cannot succeed unless I'm there, 100% of the time. You know what I mean? So to me, it boils down to priority, man.
Okay. And do you have a daily task list of things that you are going to do when you wake up? Because you said you also have business here, and share and talk about that business too, because folks will be inspired. I know I am, and I just love it because I have 2 and not 3 children. So I say, oh man, maybe 3 is the ticket to having, so much going on even overseas. There's the magic.
Yeah, so we also run a staffing business here. It's more like a family operation that we run here. So that actually takes a bulk of my time, of course, being that I'm in the United States. And when you're in the staffing industry, it requires a lot of it requires your presence, right? So once I leave my house in the morning, I head up to the office, and then the daily routine starts from there. But like I said, for me, I'm able to get enough done in the morning that even when I'm away, I don't feel as guilty, when I return late at night. You know what I mean? Then when I come back home at night, I still have 30 minutes to an hour to spend time with the children and wifey before we call it a day.
Okay. With all this going on, when is your book going to come out?
Which one?
Whatever book, I mean, you have a few books in you at least, but when people want to hear the story in your own words, when can they purchase the book on Amazon?
Okay, well, right now I do have 2 books on Amazon. My 3rd book was just launched. That'll be on Amazon. Well, the ebook version is already on Amazon. The paperback will be on Amazon by Monday. So my first book is 21 Habits of Highly Broke People. My second book is Side Gig Money, 101 Ways to Make Money Without Quitting Your 9-to-5 Job. And my recent book that I just launched is titled How Poor People Think. How to, 23 ways to rewire your mind from poverty mentality to abundance mentality. And then my 4th book is coming out in the next 2 months, titled Rich Kid. So as far as like a book related to my story per se, I don't know when that's coming out yet. But most of the books that I write are based on experiences that I've had from my travels, from what I've seen, interviewing people, reading books and things of that nature. So they're all pretty interesting books.
Okay, you see, you guys have to get these books and set it up. I just felt the brother had books in him. And so, you have not because you asked not, but he already has the books to help you, get motivated. With all your success, how impactful has having a good wife been for you?
Oh man, I think, I don't even think anybody can do anything to the magnitude that I'm trying to do without having an excellent wife, right? And I think that's what a lot of us miss. We pursue everything else at the expense of our family, and when sometimes I sit back and I just realize that, if you take everything else away from me, if you leave me with my family, I'm all right. Right. And I think a family is the most important thing anybody can ask for, right? And my wife has been extremely supportive. She prays, honestly, man, without my wife, and I'm not saying this because to sound like a cliche because everybody says it, but without the support of my wife, I don't think I can accomplish half the things that I'm doing right now.
Awesome. Yeah, I like to get that insight. You meet so many, single guys who think they're doing something, and it's like if you had a good woman, and you'll have people, if you're coming from a culture where bride price is a requirement, people will say, "Oh, but I don't have the bride price." But you say, "Hey, but your wife is an American who, she might be an Italian American or whatnot."
Right.
She knows nothing about that. You're making excuses. There's no perfect time if you have the right wife, to make that plunge. You have to be ready. With your success, what is your community give back that you are doing or that you want to do in the future?
So right now, you mean, so you're talking more from a corporate social responsibility standpoint, right?
I'm talking about whichever give back you feel that, you know, is passionate to your heart. There's no rules in this.
Gotcha. Okay. So I think for me, you know, one of the reasons why I am highly passionate about Africa and why we're doing what we're doing in Africa is because it is underdeveloped, and mainly because we have a lot of leaders who are not passionate about developing their people. You know, I always say that any African in America is lucky to be here because our parents were fortunate to have the opportunity to come here. And I see a lot of people that once they come to America, they lose their identity of where they're from. All of a sudden, they're Americanized and they forget where they're coming from, giving back. And for me, my passion is not to live here for the rest of my life, but I want to be able to, as I'm doing now, I go at least 4 times a year, you know, where we have staff on our payroll that we're paying every month. And for me, I want to be able to do more for my people than those who are actually in Nigeria. When I'm talking about leaders, right? So our goal is to, number one, continue to employ more people, continue to empower people financially, and teach financial literacy, right? And these are some of the things that I do every time I go back home. I'm always having seminars, you know, when I travel, you know, even funding businesses. Those are some of the things that I do. I fund quite a number of businesses back home because I want people to be able to be independent and not dependent on the government, which is why majority of people in Africa are in poverty, because they rely so much on the government to meet their needs.
No, that's beautiful. And I would just say again, stories like yours inspire, because one of my goals, people always ask, oh, what's your monetary goal? I say, you know, more than a monetary goal, I'd like to have businesses in Africa that can cut me a check, you know, every month. I'm making minimum $3,000 a month, short term, because there's different phases. Because I know at $3,000 a month, in most places, unless I'm on like Lakey Island or something, I'm going to be all right. You know,
Right.
I'm going to be all right. I'm going to have everything that I need, and that I can really just not retire, but kick back. But to have businesses here, to be there, if, you know, America, anything can happen between countries. Wherever you want to be able to make some money. So I love to hear stories like yours. Folks, I can't keep him for as long as I usually keep a guest, because you see he's in the car. The 3 kids, they always need something. Wife always needs something. He has businesses he's got to run. But I appreciate you, Dipo, for coming on.
Pleasure.
Yeah, man. And we'll definitely, you know, stay in contact. You guys like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. His links will be in the description box. If you hit him about some official business or to give him some praise. But just know that he doesn't have a lot of time. So make sure you are ready to talk money.